And that is not a conservative position, my friend. My politics have not changed, but I am reacting to politics that have. And this is yet another example of how the woke invert the very thing that used to make liberals liberals. Snitches and bitches, that's not being liberal. The Associated Press is a real news organization, yeah? So why am I reading this headline? Olympic surfing exposes whitewashed native Hawaiian roots. Yeah, the Olympics added surfing this year. Good. Surfers deserve to be recognized as athletes. I'm sorry. What I meant to say is, no, that's cultural appropriation. The AP says that for Hawaiians, probably all two of them, including surfing in the Olympics is an extension of the racial indignity seared into the history of the game and their homeland when white outsiders took over their spiritual art form. Or just people having fun in the ocean.
Bill Maher is saying that it's not just Hollywood feeling pressure. The sports arenas and stadiums are also in the spotlight. In recent years, many athletes and sports commentators have faced backlash for refusing to follow strict activist expectations. Then Maher stepped in and refused to follow any political script. He spoke fast, directly, and confidently, creating a moment that shocked many viewers. The clash felt intense and exciting. If you are new here, hit subscribe and let's start this story together.
The director of the opening ceremony was fired hours before the event because they found out there was a Holocaust joke in a comedy routine he did decades ago. Well, you know, context is everything. Obviously, it didn't strike people as beyond the pale at the time. Young people have to stop flattering themselves that they're Nostradamus and would have foreseen, had they been around then, everything that's unacceptable now. And for further context, Mel Brooks wrote one of the most successful musicals of all time around the song Springtime for Hitler.
The online outrage groups never stop searching for targets. They act like they're always scanning social media, looking for old mistakes, old posts, or forgotten interviews. It does not matter how old the mistake is. One sentence, one joke, or one careless comment can be taken, edited, and turned into something dangerous. Once they find something, the anger spreads quickly online. In one case involving organizers connected to the Olympic Games, people searched through past statements looking for something controversial. When they found it, they shared it everywhere on the internet.
Why do we allow the people who just want to bitch to always win? Days before that firing, the opening ceremony's musical director, was also forced out because someone dug up an interview with him from 1994 where he admitted to bullying classmates as a child. As a child. Remember when your teacher used to try and scare you by saying, this is going to go on your permanent record? Yeah. No longer an empty threat now.
These groups do not stop easily. They keep pushing public pressure until someone's reputation is almost destroyed. Nothing is safe from review. Old mistakes, childhood mistakes, or past comments can all be brought back. Context does not matter. Personal growth does not matter. Time does not matter. The only thing that matters is building a story that supports the current attack. The hypocrisy is very clear. Many critics act like they were perfect growing up, even though they probably made mistakes too. They hold others to impossible standards while never following those standards themselves.
And the creative director of the entire shebang of the whole Olympics got shit-canned because he once made a fat joke in a private conversation. This is called a purge. It's a mentality that belongs in Stalin's Russia. How bad does this atmosphere we are living in have to get for the people who say cancel culture is overblown admit that is in fact an insanity that is swallowing up the world? I'm back, not the audience. I'm back. And that is not a conservative position, my friends. My politics have not changed, but I am reacting to politics that have. And this is yet another example of how the woke invert the very thing that used to make liberals liberals. Snitches and bitches, that's not being liberal.
Maher does not speak softly when he criticizes the so-called woke crowd. He calls the modern online gossip hunters who wait in the shadows looking for mistakes they can use to shame someone publicly. In his view, this is no longer about fairness or responsibility. It is about power and control. They wait for the moment when outrage will spread fastest before revealing someone's past mistake. He believes this is different from old liberal values. Traditional liberalism supported open discussion, tolerance, and giving people chances to improve. But this newer style, he argues, focuses more on forcing agreement and punishing disagreement. Instead of encouraging conversation, it shuts it down.
The Associated Press is a real news organization, yeah? So why am I reading this headline? Olympic surfing exposes whitewashed native Hawaiian roots. Yeah, the Olympics added surfing this year. Good. Surfers deserve to be recognized as athletes. I'm sorry. What I meant to say is, no, that's cultural appropriation. The AP says that for Hawaiians, probably all two of them, including surfing in the Olympics is an extension of the racial indignity seared into the history of the game and their homeland when white outsiders took over their spiritual art form. Or just people having fun in the ocean.
It is almost strange how easily outraged groups can turn simple moments into political messages. Simple scenes like people laughing or enjoying a day at the beach can suddenly be analyzed as deep political symbols. What used to be harmless fun is now treated like important cultural evidence. They use complicated academic language to make their arguments sound deep and powerful. But when you look closer, there is often very little real substance behind it. Style replaces meaning. Performance replaces honesty. The goal is not always to explain things. Sometimes the goal is to influence opinion. Everyday moments are turned into exaggerated scandals. When the excitement fades, the big dramatic claims often turn out to be mostly noise.
I must say, of all the violations of the woke penal code, cultural appropriation just might be the dumbest of all. First of all, there are 25,000 islands in the Pacific. How do we know a Hawaiian was the first to stand on a board in the water? Seems like something anyone in any ocean would eventually get around to. And if you're a surfer, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, or in between. You all taste the same to shark.
Maher also criticizes the outrage focus on cultural appropriation. He asks when simple appreciation became something negative. In today's world, cultures mix constantly through music, food, fashion, and art. This cultural mixing has always helped human societies grow. People usually borrow ideas because they admire them, not because they want to erase the original culture. Maher believes this mixing is a sign of respect and curiosity. Critics see it differently and sometimes treat cultural sharing as an offense. From his view, blocking cultural sharing does not protect traditions. Instead, it locks culture in place and slowly weakens its creativity and life.
But let's say a Hawaiian did invent surfing. Should he or she have kept it to themselves? Most of human history is a horror story, but the good parts are about different groups coming together and sharing. It's sort of the whole point of the Olympics, which itself comes from Greece, where wrestling was invented as a way for completely heterosexual men to get to know each other. Badminton has roots in India. Tennis comes from France. Skiing from Scandinavia and Taekwondo from Korea. Judo was appropriated from the Far East and skateboarding from the Far Out.
Maher believes that when a community creates something, it does not mean that creation must stay inside that community forever. Human progress has always depended on sharing ideas, art, and technology across cultures. Today, the world works more like one connected neighborhood. Technology, travel, and communication allow ideas to move instantly across countries. People take what inspires them and create something new from it. This does not weaken culture. Instead, it helps traditions stay alive and reach more people. Cultural exchange also helps reduce distance between people and builds mutual respect under one shared human community.
What is this new rule that the first to do something are the only ones who get to have it? Jewish people spent most of their history wandering, but when they see other people milling around, they don't say, "Can you not? That's sort of archaic." You know, change is not synonymous with progress. Newer doesn't automatically mean better. This new idea that each culture must remain in its own separate silo, it's not better. It's not progress.
Maher strongly believes that avoiding other cultures is against human history. Every major achievement happened because someone looked beyond their own community for inspiration. Saying cultural sharing is wrong ignores centuries of shared human progress. Many of these strict ideas fall apart when you use simple logic. They place strict ideology above common sense and natural curiosity. Instead of encouraging learning, they create fear. Fear of saying the wrong word, wearing the wrong clothes, or liking the wrong tradition. That mindset does not bring people together. It pushes them apart and weakens the natural process of learning and connection.
And in fact, it's messing with one of the few ideas that still really does make this melting pot called America great. Not everything is about oppression. Stealing natural resources from indigenous peoples, yes, of course, that is exploitation. But I swear not one Beach Boys song resulted in any Hawaiian having less waves to surf. Not one African record buyer stopped purchasing local music after Paul Simon made Graceland. But lots of white buyers in America were turned on to and then bought African music. And today, Korean boy bands make Western-style music. You don't get to number one singing.
So should we criticize Korean artists when they perform Western music styles? Of course not. They are usually praised for talent and global creativity. Nobody complains when they perform pop, rap, or R&B music that was originally created in the West. But when Western artists borrow from other cultures, it is sometimes called cultural appropriation. This creates a double standard. Cultural sharing is accepted in one direction but criticized in the other. This creates unfair rules where some artists can create freely while others face backlash. If culture is meant to connect people, then sharing should go both ways.
And that's the great thing about cultural mixing. It makes things better for everyone. BTS can be a hit in America, and I can get kimchi on a taco. Isn't that better than everyone walling itself off from outsiders? I thought walls were supposed to be bad. But we're living now in a world where straight actors are told they can't play gay roles, and white novelists aren't allowed to imagine what it would be like to be a Mexican immigrant, even though trying to inhabit the life of someone else is almost the very definition of empathy, the bedrock of liberalism. And by the way, if anyone deserves to bitch about stealing in the Olympics, it's the horses in the equestrian events who have to watch humans get medals for everything they do.
At the core of Maher's argument is a warning about modern outrage culture. What started as movements for fairness and inclusion has sometimes turned into constant watching, judging, and selective anger. Instead of encouraging open conversation, it sometimes punishes curiosity. Instead of celebrating cultural sharing, it sometimes discourages it. Maher believes real progress comes from freedom, openness, and learning from different cultures. Cultures grow stronger when ideas are shared. People grow stronger when they are allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. Societies become stronger through debate and different viewpoints. In the end, common sense and openness should win over strict ideology because real unity comes from connection, not control or silence. That is the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.